All right then, well, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming out this evening on such a cold evening. And make sure you get some warm beverages into you, because we're here in a lovely cafe, 23 seats. So I want to start by thanking Alan and Erika for providing the venue here tonight. As you may know, they've hosted book launches here before, and they're doing their bit to create sort of a literary cafe society here in Dundalk, to rival the cafe society, you know, that flourished in Vienna in the 1890s, or in Paris in the 1920s, or in New York in the 1960s, or in RD in the 1980s. So we're following in a nice tradition here. So it's my contribution to word literature that's bringing us here tonight. So welcome to the official launch of Talking Squirrel Blues. It's a surreal comedy novel about life, love and blues music. So it had its origins a few years ago when, like the main character in the book, I was walking into work in Dublin one day, and as I was walking through one of the suburban estates on a very quiet early morning, out of the leaves in front of me jumped a squirrel. And it was the last thing I expected to see, and because my life didn't have much excitement at the time, my first thought was, oh wow, there's a squirrel. Today I saw a squirrel walking into work. And then I corrected myself, because I was thinking, a squirrel walking into work, that just doesn't sound right. The squirrel isn't walking into work, or is he? And with that question, the germ of an idea was sort of planted in my head, and out of that came the novel, Talking Squirrel Blues. So I'd been interested in creative writing for many years, since my school days in fact. And when I was younger, my parents were patiently waiting for me to become sort of like a best-selling millionaire author. A goal that I'm still working on, word by word, letter by letter. But this was the first time that I'd embarked on a full-length novel. So I explored the traditional publishing route initially, and then a few years ago self-publishing and e-publishing with e-books kicked off. I kind of thought, well, this would be an interesting avenue to explore as a sort of a side project. And in 2013 I published A Blanket of Blues, which was a collection of short stories based around blues lyrics that I had written. I can't sing, but I can write blues lyrics, so I kind of thought, well, here's an avenue for me. And the central character in that was a dead blues singer called Fingers Flaherty, who I kind of became very fond of, and I kind of had found a hook that I could hang a lot of other creative projects on as well. It was a case of you have one idea and you milk it for all it's worth. So in 2014 I followed up the short story collection with a short novella called Dime Store Avenue Blues, and then I thought it was a good time to return to the walking, talking squirrel that I'd met in the suburbs of Dublin many years ago. Then, as the book was nearing its self-publishing date, I found myself in the cinema in Dundalk, and I was watching the Monty Python reunion show from Dublin there about a year or two ago. And then something completely different happened. I got a phone call from Australia. My friend Colin wanted to know if I'd like to be godfather to his son Michael. So I was delighted. I was delighted to be asked to be godfather. In fact, it was an offer that I couldn't refuse. I had dedicated my previous novella to my goddaughter Faye down in Wexford, and so this novel is dedicated to a very special little boy in Melbourne, Michael McGee, who one day is going to grow up and hopefully read the book and realise that his father has some very strange friends in Ireland. So I'd spent 5 years in UCD studying English literature, and it would be really nice if I was able to say that the novel was inspired by reading Tolstoy and Joyce and Shakespeare and Hemingway, but it was actually probably more inspired by reading comic strips and listening to blues music. So we all grab our ideas, you know, wherever we can find them. So It's often said that writing is mainly a solitary endeavour, which it is, but it's not a solitary journey. Along the way, many people help you. And I'd just like to take a moment to thank some of the many people who've helped me with this project and other creative projects. So, when I started the journey, the support and feedback from my colleagues Eleanor McNicholas and Pat Carroll helped ensure that I didn't get too lost in the wordy woods that I was creating. And other colleagues as well provided lots of helpful feedback and encouragement to my writing over the years. These would include Helen McVeigh, Paul Nash, Joyce Hickey, Eamon Maguire, Deirdre Clancy, Megan Dowling, Christine Doran, Sandra Hopper, Orla Donoghue and Kevin Stevens. And I'd like to particularly thank Emma Dunn, who was my editor on this project, and her expertise and insightful suggestions helped me to get the final manuscript ready for publication. And of course, family and friends, far too numerous to mention individually, have supported me in countless ways over the years in these projects. And a special mention to the Rap Mines contingent, who were with me in the trenches back in the day. So, of course, as well, my late parents, who ironically were never late for anything in their lives, a trait which I haven't really managed to live up to, but they never stopped believing in me and believing in my rather weird writing, and they set me on this road, and I'm still very proud to continue walking on this road. So I'd also just like to thank as well, specifically in relation to the book launch, I want to thank all the local businesses and that have kind of got behind the launch. First of all, to 23 Steps for providing us with the wonderful venue here tonight, 23 seats, and Margaret Ruddy in the Argus, who helped get the ball rolling with coverage in the newspapers, and Dundalk Tourist Office have been doing great work with the publicity on social media and on the Twitter machine. And I'd also like to thank the local library for helping to promote the event. And of course, a number of local businesses as well have agreed to stock the book as well, including Ruby Allen's in Carlingford, McAteer's Food House, and Red Road Books, the wonderful bookshop just down the road here, and the Crystals in Jenkinstown as well. So I'd just like now to read a short extract from the novel. The extract is only about 90,000 words long, so assuming that my false teeth don't fall out, we should be able to wrap up around midnight.